Greetings, I'm Doc V, and I want to talk today about situations that one can be placed in that will make you react and do something you'd normally never do. Your life could be in danger, or someone else's life might be in danger, and it'll cause you to act or react. There's a situation where you might feel under pressure, financial pressure, and it might cause you to do something that you would normally not do. Many African American males are in a situation where they're under pressure. Their women wonder, why can't you produce? I'm working and I'm doing my thing. What's wrong with you? Why can't you produce? There's situations where a man might be turned down from a potential employer 4 or 5 times. He knows he has the qualifications, but yet he's turned down. Sometimes people get in situations where it'll make them take chances and do things that they normally would not do. Before I continue with this story I would like to tell, I would like to just do a quick promo out. My book, The Black Man's Mountain, it is available on Amazon.com. Okay, let me go back to this story. I'm going to dedicate this particular video to my brothers. I have a brother named Brian and a brother named Vincent. And I'm recalling an incident I'll call the swamp tree incident. On West River Street, way up in Elyria, Ohio, there was woods, or what we were little kids, so we called it woods in the backyard. And as we would venture through the woods and step through the branches and jump over the rocks and the creeks, at the back of the woods, there was a creek. The creek seems like it was 10, 15 feet wide, and it just stretched from the fence all the way out to wherever. And on the other side of this creek was an apple tree, and it had green apples. And my brothers and I, we grabbed some paper bags and we engaged the swamp tree to get to the apple tree. Let me explain. The swamp tree was on our side of the creek, and we would climb one at a time till we got up to the tall branches that were weak, and the branches began to bend down to the other side and land on the other side of the swamp. And then we let it go, and that tree would spring back up again. Then the next brother would climb up and lean until that branch let us down, and we let go, land on that side, and boom, and go up again. All 3 of us climbed, boom, got our paper bags stuck in our shirts and our pants, and we would collect those green apples. Then we would cut. We couldn't get back the same way. We had to cut through some houses. And when we cut through the houses, there was this black German shepherd, and they used to call her Lady, and this German shepherd was mean and just rah, 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 rah. And we would cut through the houses and bring Mom the green apples, and Mom would make apple pie. It was just a beautiful thing. And I remember Mom making the apple pie, and we just enjoyed it so much. And some weeks went by, and we asked her, Mom, when are you going to make us another pie? She said, when y'all bring me some more apples. So me and my brothers got together, and me and Vincent, we were pretty adventurous. We were ready. And Brian was too, but Brian really didn't like the weeds and the bugs and the things that we might encounter. He was a little bit more kind of careful. Me and Vincent, we were just stomping out there like like we were soldiers. So anyway, on this particular day, we got our paper bags, and we engaged the woods, and we went back there, and we saw that the apple tree was full of green apples on the other side of the swamp. So we engaged the swamp tree, And this time, my brother Brian, I don't even know if he remembers this, but I'll never forget it. And Brian, if you hear this, I don't know if you remember it or not, but I'll never forget it. We noticed that the black German Shepherd was nowhere around. Usually it's tied up by the house and it's running and barking, and this wasn't there. So we were like, eh. So Brian was the first one to engage the swamp tree. He climbed up and he got all the way to the top, and it started bending down and it let him down and he landed, and then the tree went back up, and all of a sudden the German Shepherd came out of nowhere. Rawr! Just came out running. German Shepherd came out, and me and Vincent, we were already on the safe side of the swamp. We turned around and we just took off. Jesse Owens just flying, jumping over logs, jumping over weeds, cutting through. We just took off. And while we were running, I thought, Brian is on the other side of the swamp with the black German Shepherd. This is not good. So when Vincent and I got in the clear, matter of fact, I think Vincent just kept on going to the house. I turned around and looked, and Brian was walking through the swamp. The swamp was waist high on him. Algae, insects, spiders, bugs, snakes, mud. His clothes were messed up, and he was holding his hands up like this, and he was crying, walking through the swamp. Why was he walking through the swamp? Because on the other side of that swamp was the black German Shepherd, running back and forth, snotting and showing the teeth. But that black German Shepherd didn't even want to get in the swamp. The swamp was so bad, not even the dog wanted to get into it. But Brian had to make a choice. Deal with the German Shepherd, maybe get mauled, maybe get bitten. It could have been a terrible situation. Or engage the swamp. So something that he would never normally do, he did. It was rough. It was nasty. There were snakes, spiders, bugs, mud, algae, green, brown gook in this swamp. And Brian marched through that swamp, crying with tears in his eyes. He made a decision. He had to make a decision. In life, we all get to the point where we have to make a decision. And sometimes these decisions are based on desperation. Sometimes these decisions are based on fear. Sometimes these decisions are based on us just wanting to move to the next level or to the next phase of life. And the plans that were laid out for us or the path that we have taken is just not working out for us. We didn't do well in school, or some of us dropped out of school. We couldn't get the job we wanted. Your girlfriend or your wife is making real good money. Credit's good and everything. She's looking at you like, well, what's wrong? Why can't you get yourself together? And the man is struggling, the man is trying. And his manhood, his self-esteem, his purpose for living, those things inside of us that make us men, was being upset. This manism, if that's a word, is being rocked and dismantled. Some just fall into it and curl up and just say, forget it. And they go on with meager living, and that's just what turned out for them. And some take chances. Some chances are good chances, And some chances are bad chances. Sometimes when a man is under so much pressure, he cannot tell the difference between a good chance and a bad chance. A good chance is taking a job that you're overqualified for, that you really don't want to do, so that you can maintain some sense of stability until you can move up to the next phase. That's a good chance. A bad chance would be trying to rob someone or trying to beat the system, trying to commit some kind of a crime that will possibly move you to the next level or move you into jail. Most crimes committed, or the higher dollar amount of crimes in this country, are white-collar crimes. What is a white-collar crime? A white-collar crime is a crime that is done with no threat of violence or no threat of harm. Matter of fact, the victim does not even know that they were robbed. For example, someone might be working in a business and the customers are supposed to pay $19.95 for the product, and the person working the job cheats them and he charges them $19.45 and steals 50 cents on each transaction. But every day, hundreds and hundreds of transactions are done. So multiply those days times weeks, times months, times years, and this person has committed white-collar crimes and has stolen $20, $30, $40, $50,000 over time. The person that gets a gun and is feeling desperate, and he goes to the convenience store and he pulls the gun and he put your money in the bag. And he might get $200, $300. But if he gets caught, what is it, 20 years for armed robbery? And if you shoot someone, I think it's double that, 40 or 50 years. There's people walking around that have, excuse me, they've committed white-collar crimes, and their only punishment was they lost their license. They were forbidden to work at the particular company again, or they had to pay restitution or pay back the money that was stolen. Some of these young black men who had poor role models decided that they wanted to take a chance, steal a car, break in a house, rob a house. And when they get caught, it's no restitution. It's no, you can't work here anymore. It's no, you have to move to another neighborhood. It's, you're going to jail. You have a prison record. You're now in the system. Sometimes there's pressures that a particular demographic might face that others don't face. I remember on college campus, I went to a predominantly white university up in the north, and the blacks stayed together through their fraternities or through their athletics and through their sports. Or Christian organizations, and they formed groups that helped them cope and help them survive, because there was always someone that needed money. There was someone short on their tuition. There was someone who had an emotional problem because they left their boyfriend or girlfriend at home. There was always some things going on. I noticed that the black students, for the most part, didn't have the nicest automobiles, and they weren't in the nicest dorms. And then there were some other fraternity members, or there's some other students that were of a higher echelon. They had new cars, nice little sports cars. They had credit cards that the parents just kept filling up, and they could buy pizza for everybody drinks for everybody. It was just a different situation. When a person that is lacking is put in front of abundance over and over and over again, they're out working their meager jobs and they see people pulling up in nice cars. They got the nice Jordans on. They got the nice leather jackets. They got the designer eyewear, the shoes. They're just looking good. And their ladies are looking at them like, oh, wow, who was that? There's Tommy. There's Reggie. There's Ricky. And you're just sitting there and you know, if you take the lady out and take her out for a snack or for a dinner on the college campus, then you might not eat for 3 days. So what I'm trying to do is paint a picture for you. Some people have had to come a different way and have had to come through certain pressures that others might not have to or might not have had to deal with. I recall a student came to my classroom. I was getting ready to leave. All the students were gone. The buses were gone. This young man couldn't have been but 17, taller than me, bigger than me. Big guy walked in, said, Dr. Shorts, can I talk to you? I said, you better hurry up. I said, I got to get home. He said, my mom is on the other side of town and I missed the bus and I'm hungry. And I got to catch the regular MARTA system. And I said, I understand. I said, I understand. I said, you need some help. I said, now, if you're lying to me, if you're trying to juice me up, I said, no, sir, no, sir. I said, I'm going to help you out. I said, because I don't want you making a bad decision because you're under pressure. I don't want you doing something stupid and I read about you in the news. I'm going to get you home. I'm going to get you some food. You're going to be all right this evening. And this is between you and me. You understand that? He said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, of course, I funded him, took care of him. And every once in a while, he'd come by and say, everything's all right. And he would like, yes, sir. He needed help. Many of us need help. After I helped this brother, anything I needed, if there was a student that was giving me problems, being threatening, or being hostile or disruptive, he would rise up. And I would just look at him and you don't know how you can touch a life. You don't know how you can affect someone's life. Another incident, a young lady wouldn't leave the classroom. She was straightening up my desk and cleaning and wiping things up. I said, it's time to go, young lady. What is the problem? She said, my mama told me to stay at school as long as possible. I said, for what? What's going on? She said, because there's no electricity in the house and the water's getting ready to get cut off and there's no electricity. I said, are you kidding me? To make a long story short, I called a friend and we got together and we got in touch with the mother and she sent us the account information for the electric and for the water, whatever the utilities were, and we turned those utilities on. You don't know what a person is going through. You do not know what kind of corner a person is. A person gets put in to make them make a decision that could destroy their lives. Some of you are not sensitive to that. You cannot empathize with that. But I can. I'm not going to go into some of the stories and some of the things that I went through because time is running out. But I do want to share with you that look over a situation. Understand why a particular young man or young lady is acting the way they're acting or is showing signs of desperation or of the inability to make a wise or rational decision. You don't know what kind of pressure they're under. Be sensitive to that and be ready and willing to meet a need. Help someone. Talk to someone. If God has blessed you and raised you up, use that strength and stability and that power to help someone else. Once again, I'm Doc B, and I'll see you next time. See you next time.